During the Lent and in the months before it, we have invited somebody to give a testimony each week to talk about the importance of the work of love that this church does in the community. And this morning, we had the distinct pleasure of listening to my very own firstborn daughter, Cecilia Barraza, come and give her testimony.
As you all know, I'm a pastor's kid, and me and my family came to this church about 9 years ago. Through my 9 years here, I have experienced many changes in my faith due to the programs that the church provided. Those included, but aren't limited to, confirmation, in which I learned to articulate a Christianity that holds meaning to me, the Our Whole Lives program, where I learned about the complexity of human sexuality, building bridges, where I was able to observe different faith practices, and the life-changing trip to La Romana, Dominican Republic, which fully expanded my view of the world through practicing the Christian faith. While planning and packing for this trip, I was stressed about my friends' situations, academic success, and smaller problems with my interpersonal relationships. But mostly, I was concerned that this trip would not be as enjoyable as the year before, for there could be nothing else I had left to witness. I had already seen the tremendous poverty, witnessed the unconditional love, and tried to help those most in need. I could not have proved myself more wrong. I was assigned to work with the Bate Bible School 3 out of 5 of the days, during which my team and I on that group assignment were playing with the younger kids and passing out deworming medication to those under 18. On my second day working in the Bates, Tuesday, another teenager who I went on the trip with, Emma, where me and her were stopped by Estella, a fellow translator who I formed an incredibly close relationship with this year. Estella asked if we would be able to help build a wheelchair for a man in a neighboring Bate and handed us an instruction manual and multiple pieces. Emma, with a passion for engineering, jumped right up with a grin on her face, expressed how much she loved to build and create things. Unfortunately, that was not my strong suit, so I watched while holding several kids on my lap, and slowly but surely a crowd of fascinated, mostly young boys formed around her. They all watched in fascination as she put the pieces of the wheelchair together, and eventually, for she was absent of tools, another Dominican man took over. On the way home from that Bate, after working hours in the hot sun, we arrived at a small shack right off the sugarcane fields, and in the doorway was a disabled man who had no legs and appeared very malnourished. The bus came to a halt, and then I witnessed Estella deliver the newly made wheelchair to the old disabled man. This is one of the few times on the trip that I could not stop crying, because it was so overwhelming for me to think about how it could have been any of us if we were born in a different place in a different time. I later found out the only reason he requested the wheelchair was so that he could go to church on Sunday morning. Throughout this entire experience in the Dominican Republic, the translators, Dominicans, and Haitians, through song, touch, movement, and hospitality, have helped me shape my view of what it means to follow God wholeheartedly and establish my belief that heaven on earth is a place absent of poverty. I am incredibly grateful for the First Church in Sterling for providing this life-changing experience. Thank you.